Good morning, people. Watch Woman 65. Lisa Boyce here. I'm going to do, it's not going to be long, a video on imminency and the return, the rapture of the church. I found this article on Rapture Ready, and I felt it needed attention, especially with the fact, both the cats are in, especially with the fact that you got all this coronavirus going on, people are unemployed, people are losing hope in the rapture. And I felt the need to do this article, especially when you got people like Nancy Pelosi showing off her $8.5 million house with her $25,000 refrigerator full of $20 an ounce ice cream. That was unheard of, that she showed that. But I'm going to do this article on the imminency of the rapture. A lot of people don't believe in this. And this is what gives us pre-tribulation people hope in the Lord. His return is imminent. But I'm going to do a study on imminency. This article is interesting. It's, like I said, it's off of Rapture Ready. It says, in doing some research on the doctrine of imminency, I noticed a few people take the time to actually define what prophetic imminency means. First, let's look at the general definition of the key word imminent, the quality or condition of being about to occur. Imminency, as it relates to Bible prophecy, simply means that the return of Jesus Christ for the church, the rapture, can happen at any moment. No warning signs needed. Nothing is needed. We as Christians remain on alert 24/7. If a wife knows her husband normally gets home shortly after 4 p.m., she knows that beginning at 4 p.m., his arrival is imminent. If the woman knows her husband has to work overtime, the imminency of his 4 p.m. return is then in doubt. The only way for the rapture to be truly imminent is to have it transpire before the tribulation. If the church were required to wait until after the manifestation of certain events, then there would be no doctrine of imminency. That's why people are writing and saying, are we in the tribulation? No, we're not in the tribulation. What's happening is a precursor to the tribulation. And like I've said before, if the tribulation is this close and things are happening this for the tribulation, that it's going to happen in the tribulation, how much closer are we to the rapture of the church? It says here, the pre-tribulation rapture is the only view that allows for the rapture to be imminent in its timing. All the other views require a number of prophetic occurrences to take place before the rapture can be declared imminent. To be looking for the imminent return of Christ, you have to believe in the pre-tribulation rapture, period. Now, I did a thing on this a few months ago about the different views on what they believe in. Imminency is not in a mid-trib. Imminency is not in a post-trib. It's definitely not in a post-trib. Imminency is not in a pre-wrath rapture. Imminency is only in the pre-tribulation rapture. It's imminent. It's going to happen at any moment. Jesus repeatedly said that his return for the church would be a surprise. The Lord even went beyond saying he would return as a thief, when believers generally won't be expecting him to come for them. But with us being ready 24/7, he's not going to come to us as a thief in the night. Even though Matthew 24:36 says, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not even the angels in heaven, but only my Father. Now that verse, in my opinion, and I'm just saying, it might be talking about the second coming and not so much the pre-tribulation rapture, because we're in a time of season where we see things going on in the stars and the moon and the sky, which he told us to look out for. So we are in the season for the pre-tribulation rapture. So we pretty much know the timing because of what's happening now in the prophetic and what's happening with the one world order, the currency. We pretty much know that the rapture is at hand right now as we speak. But this article goes on to say that because we have no way to refute the fact that we will not know the exact time of the Lord's return, the tribulation is a barrier to the rapture. That means, like I said earlier, everything that's happening now is a precursor to the tribulation. We're leaving before everything hits the fan, basically. He's taking the church out of here. This type of any moment language doesn't fit, like I said, doesn't fit a post-trib rapture. If Jesus were prevented from coming until after the battle of Magog, the rise of Antichrist, and the mark of the beast, we would have no need to watch for him before the tribulation. Think about that. If the church were required to go through the 7-year tribulation, you would expect the New Testament writers to have warned us to be prepared beforehand. On the contrary, the New Testament writers repeatedly tells the church to be comforted by the coming of the Lord. 1 Thessalonians 4:18. The word comfort also strongly implies that the rapture will take place before the tribulation. Some anti-imminency folks try to solve the problem they have with the rapture's any moment occurrence by redefining it as merely indicating that Christ will return soon. They love that. The speed of Christ's advent is not the issue. If an event is required to take place before the Lord can return, then there is no need to remain watchful. I'm putting that out there. Because the duration of the tribulation is already known, post-tribbers have the hardest time dealing with the rapture's timing. Some of them have tried to suggest that believers who make it through the tribulation will lazily lose track of the nearness of Christ's second coming. How stupid is that? If a Christian has been lucky enough to survive a host of apocalyptic calamities and elude the Antichrist's secret police for at least 3.5 years, I cannot imagine that he would be oblivious to the nearness of the Lord's return at the 7-year mark. If I were reduced to the point of having to hide in a forest or forage through dead tree bark to find beetles and grubs to sustain myself, I'm certain my every thought would be focused on the Lord's return. Seriously. I wanted to give you a glimpse of this article. I'm going to leave the rest of the article in the description box for you to look at. But this is very interesting. And this, once again, puts post-tribbers, mid-tribbers, pre-wrath people to rest. And I'm going to give you some scriptures here. And I'm going to give you one. Well, I'm going to give you a few scriptures here. Mark 13:33 through 37. Take heed, watch and pray. For ye know not when the time is. For the Son of Man is as a man, taking a far journey, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to every man his work, commanded the porter to watch. Watch ye, therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh, at evening, or at midnight, or at the cock crowing, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say unto you, I say unto all, watch. Romans 16:20, and the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. 1 Corinthians 1:7, so that ye come behind in no gift, waiting for the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. 1 Thessalonians 1:10, and to wait for his Son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead, even Jesus, which delivered us from the wrath to come. From the wrath to come. That is the great tribulation. We are going to be gone soon. I just wanted to give you a little bit of this article here. I'll be back on later because I have 2 stories that I wanted to go through that came this morning. But I wanted you to get a little bit of hope this morning before I continued. So, in the meantime, I'm going to leave the link of this article in the description box. Have a nice morning.